Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 13 of Bumble Stitches, my little podcast about knitting, a little bit of sewing and general craftiness, well sometimes. It's Sunday the 21st of May, it's a beautiful day here in the UK, it's been a bit of a rainy week but finally the sun is out, so that's all good. Thank you all for joining me today. I've got some exciting things happening because it's the start of the knit along, my first knit along, which is the Try Something New KAL, as you can see there. So I'll be telling you a little bit about how that's going to work. A finished object, a half finished object, and a couple of whips. So it won't be such a long podcast today, but hopefully it will be enjoyable all the same. You can find me on Instagram as Nicola_Kerridge if you'd like to follow me on there. And you can find me on Ravelry as Bumble Stitches. And we have a podcast group called the Bumble Stitches Podcast Group, which has got details of the show notes. And we'll have details of the knit along posted a bit later on today. Hopefully by the time the podcast goes live, those will all be up and ready for you. Okay, so I'm going to kick off first of all with telling you all about the new knit along, which is the Try Something New KAL. I decided to do this as my first knit along because I had been, as I discussed in the last podcast, I had been doing, trying the new Fish Lips Kiss Heel. And when I posted about it on Instagram, quite a few people had mentioned that they thought about trying it and thought maybe it was a bit complicated, so they'd not done it. And once I did it, it was simple and I was really glad I did. So the idea was born of a Try Something New knit along where you could all literally do just that. You could try something that you'd not done before, that maybe you've been meaning to try or wanting to try for quite a while, and now's the time to do it with the added incentive of everybody else doing it with you. Some threads in the Ravelry group that we can all share each other's new knitting experiences, and also a couple of prizes, which makes it all the more fun. Okay, I'm just going to grab my notes and pop my glasses on so that I can actually tell you. I've probably got the sticky up here now. Yep, I have got the sticky up here. Never mind. Okay, so the Try Something New knit along starts today, Sunday the 21st of May, and it's going to run through till Sunday the 2nd of July. For the rules, there aren't many. I do allow whips, so if you've already started working on something that is new to you, that's absolutely fine. You can enter that into the knit along. Double dipping is allowed if you want to include it in somebody else's knit along as well. That's absolutely fine by me. There will be prizes for finished, drawn from a finished object thread, which I'll post on Ravelry, and also for a chatter thread. So there'll be opportunities for both threads to have prizes, which I'll show you in a moment. Okay, I've jotted down some ideas on my notes. So I've jotted down here brioche, which I know is something that lots of people like me. I've never tried it and I would like to have a go. It seemed a little bit complicated because I know you have to I'm saying watch because I watched Mina Phillips' tutorial on brioche knitting on YouTube, which I found very, very helpful. So you could check that out if brioche was something that you wanted to try as your new thing for the KAL. I saw Molly from Homespun House. She did one of her vlogs, spring. I think it was a spring vlog. It's the one that's most recently up on YouTube, and she mentioned the Marley shawl, which is a brioche pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it is described in the pattern details on Ravelry as an ideal starter project for somebody just starting out with brioche knitting. So I thought that might be quite a nice idea if brioche is the thing that you wanted to try, and it's definitely on my list now, on my list of things to do. Obviously I've jotted down the Fish Lips Kiss Heel because that will be quite a few people's Try Something New, I would imagine, especially if you're a sock knitter. Lace work, beads, colour work, cables. If you're doing socks, maybe you always knit cuff down and you've never tried toe up. That's definitely me. I've never done a toe up sock, so you might like to try a toe up. Or if you've always done toe up, you might like to try a cuff down. It could be knitting something, a seamless garment. Maybe you've always done pieced garments and you want to try something seamless and knitted in the round, or vice versa, if you've always done seamless and you wanted to try a pieced garment. And even if it's something as simple as it's your first sock or your first garment or your first shawl, whatever it is, I'm absolutely flexible. All I really want you to do is join in with me. So I just want the my first knit along to be a success. So I'm really easygoing on the rules. If you can show me in some way that it's your it's new to you, any element of the project that you're knitting, then it's absolutely fine. So I'll get those threads opened a bit later on today in Ravelry, so we are good to go. I am going to offer up a couple of prizes. I'll just pop my notes down so I can show you the prizes. Now, I said I was going to do some project bags, and I've made two little, well, they're not little, they're my usual size project bags. You can probably get a 2 skein project in here really comfortably because they're quite roomy, and you could probably get a 3 skein project in there as well. So this is the red one. It's got the little gnome fabric at the top and the stripes at the bottom, my little bumble stitches label there, a little bee on the zip, and fully lined with the same fabric as the bottom. I'll just puff it out a bit so you can see. So that's the red one. And the red one is going to come with some mini skeins of yarn here in addition. So I'll pop those in there because that will be one prize. And the other is exactly the same but in a blue colourway at the bottom. Again with a little bumble at the top on the zip and the label. And this one, you probably guessed, is lined with the blue lining. And again, this has got a blue box bottom. So nice and roomy. And this one has also got some minis, and these were kindly given to us here at the podcast by the lovely Polly from Paper Stories on Etsy. Some of her hand-dyed minis and a little progress keeper that she's popped on there. So thank you, Polly. These were donated to us a little while ago for a giveaway, so I thought this was the ideal time to offer these as a prize. So they will go with the blue colourway, so I'll pop those inside as well. So yes, I'm really excited about the knit along. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a little while and couldn't really decide what was the best sort of theme or when to start it or anything like that. So I just think this is hopefully a really nice one to get us all just exploring a few new techniques in our knitting. And yes, so please do join in and share on Instagram. As I said, I've got this hashtag try something new KAL here. You can use that as a hashtag, or there's also hashtag bumble stitches TSNKAL. So either of those, I will pop this on Instagram as well later, so if you follow me on there, as you start to anything to do with your projects for the knit along, your yarn, your pattern, how you're getting on, progress, anything, just share it on the hashtag and we can see. That will be, you know, really cool to see how everybody's getting along with it. I'm going to move on now to a finished object and a half finished object that I've got to share with you today, and then when I get to whips I will share with you the project that's going to be my try something new. Okay, so let's get on to the finished object, and much awaited vintage fairy light socks. I think did I show you one of these last time? I can't remember if I did or not, but anyway, we now have a pair of vintage fairy light socks, and these are a pattern from Curious Handmade from Helen Stewart, and these were released around about Christmas time as a collaboration. I think there was a kit originally available which included the yarn, which, not this particular yarn, but the yarn in the kit I think was by Hedgerow Yarns, a bag by Danny from Little Bobbins, and the pattern. Obviously those were like gold dust, those kits. I didn't manage to get one, but I did buy the pattern separately, and I then teamed it with this yarn which is called Ice Skating which was a Nora George yarn. I don't know if it's picking up the camera's picking up the silver Selena in. And this came with a gorgeous little project bag too, which I have shared on the podcast before. But yeah, I was really pleased that I've got these finished, because I'd knitted one sock and that had been knitted for ages. And then I kind of lost sort of impetus with it, and the other sock was about to here and popped in the project bag and left. So I dug them out, cracked on, managed to pick up the pattern where I'd left it off, even though I hadn't sort of made a note. Yeah, and they worked out really, really well. And the rest, it just shows that you put a project down for ages, and when you pick it up with a bit of renewed enthusiasm, I knitted from sort of here and finished the sock in about 2 days. So it was really nice to get them off the needles and get them blocked onto my lovely bunny blockers from the Knitting Shed, which everybody in podcast land and Instagram land seems to have now, but they are so cute. So now I have got, yeah, a completed pair of vintage Fairy Light socks. They were knitted on 2.5mm needles. Yeah, and I'm very, very pleased with them now. I love the way the pattern goes into this sort of rib section here, which makes them really well fitting and comfy. And this top bit sort of gives you like a slouchy sort of sock thing. So they really, I think I could see them being nice with when you get your PJs on and settle down for a cosy evening. You just got the nice sort of like slouchy top on them, but still nice and cozy. And they've got a heel flap and gusset, and just a wedge shaped toe. So that's a nice finished object to share with you all. Very pleased with those. I'm going to whip one off the blocker so that I can show you my next half finished object, which, and by the fact that it's a half finished object, might lead you to guess that it is actually a sock. So this is the half finished object. This is one of the apple blossom socks, again from Curious Handmade, Helen. There's quite a lot of Curious Handmade going on this episode. I'll just pop it on the blocker there. Okay, so you can see. Oh, bunny face around the wrong way. Okay, so this is an apple blossom sock from Helen. This I bought as a kit when I was on the retreat back in March, and Helen had yarn from Hedgerow Yarns in the apple blossom colourway, which is so pretty. It's got quite a lot of green and cream, obviously, as the base, but really, really fresh and springy. And this beautiful pattern, this lacy, like a lacy rib pattern. So again, you get a nice amount of stretch. For those of us, I know there are quite a few that've got a larger sort of ankle. These fit really, really well. I'll check on the pattern in a minute. I can't remember the stitch count. I think they were 64 stitches. The pattern has got a heel flap and gusset, but obviously now I can do fish lips kiss heel. It's just everything's getting fish lips kiss heel. So I popped that in, and they have knitted up really, really well, or this first sock has. So that's the first one. I'll just grab the pattern, pop that down. So this is available on Ravelry, this pattern. Curious Handmade. It's a paid for pattern, but such a nice, I've seen it in many different colourways on Instagram and on Ravelry, and they all look really, really nice in this ribbed lacy pattern. And they are, it's 2.5mm needles, and I think it is 64 stitches. Yeah, it's 64 stitches, and I've tried the completed one on, and because of the sort of like the rib style of it, they've got a nice amount of stretching, so there was no problem with fitting. The other one is almost, just get the bits of yarn out of the way. The other sock is almost at the heel stage. I think I just need to do another repeat or so. But you can see the amount of stretch on these. And the pattern is nice, simple, intuitive pattern. Not too difficult, but gives you a nice finished result. It looks way more complicated than it is. So yeah, if you're starting out, you're a fairly new sock knitter, I would actually recommend this pattern because it's got lots of interest, it's got a nice fitability, and it's not difficult, and Helen's got such a great way of writing her patterns. Yeah, it's definitely worth giving it a go. So that's the yarn in the cake, so you can see all the greens, sort of darker ones and lighter ones. It's a very nice fresh springy colourway. And just see if I can find the hedgerow yarns. I did buy this as a kit at the retreat, but so I don't know if this colourway is available anymore, but it's an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon hand-dyed yarn from Hedgerow. So yeah, really enjoying those. I'm knitting that on my new Chiagu sock interchangeable set that Justin bought me. So really pleased with those. The cord on these is beautiful to knit with on Magic Loop. There's no, as you can see, when you get to this bit here, there's no, the cord doesn't want to spread itself apart and cause pulling at this part of the Magic Looping. So really enjoying knitting with those. And I've got my little jammy dodgers living on here at the moment, my little progress keeper. So hopefully they will be a finished object really soon. Pop those back. That's all living in my lovely little bag from Little Bobbins. Okay, well that is it for works in progress. For finished objects from me for this week. It's been quite a busy week of knitting though, because I have started, and now I didn't intend to, but I saw the Mystery Knit Along was starting by Joji Locatelli, the starting point wrap, and I couldn't resist. I saw everyone putting their photos on Instagram, choosing their yarn, and just got swept along and saw the bandwagon and jumped on it. Now, I did have most of the yarn in my stash. It comprises 500-gram skeins of yarn. So I did a bit of stash diving and put some colour combinations together, and I was almost there. I was happy with 4 out of the 5, but the 5th one wasn't just quite right. So I had to make a last minute purchase from Loop in London from their online store, and they were super quick. I think I ordered yarn on the Friday lunchtime and it came on Saturday morning, which was great because I was itching to get cast on. So I will share some details of that now. So if you don't want to know about the Mystery Knit Along, because I've completed clue 1 and I'm on clue 2 at the moment. So if you don't want to know, you might want to fast forward a bit, probably for about the next sort of 5 minutes. And if you do want to see how I'm getting on, then I'll do that now. Okay. Now, if anyone, I mean, I'm giving you a spoiler warning, but if anyone's been doing this and been looking at Instagram, there are so many photographs of everything on there already. It was difficult. And I actually quite like to see, cause just A, to make sure I'm doing it right, and B, just out of excitement to see what everybody else is doing. So this is clue 1 that I've completed, and it's going to be quite ingenious the way this is constructed, this wrap, because each clue is knitted twice. So yeah, this is clue 1, and I've just popped this on a cable with some end stoppers on, these little Chiagu end stoppers, while I work on the other section. So that's the first part. I'm really pleased with my colour choices. I'll show you the yarns individually in a moment. And if I just pop that out of the way, and this one is the Progress Keeper, which is my lovely Bertie Bott's Every Flavour Bean that I got from the Harry Potter Yarn Club from Homespun House, which is a super miniature one. That shows the end of clue 1, and this is me knitting it into clue 2, which now it sort of straightens at the edge. There's a lot of garter stitch, but I don't mind that because it's great for when you're watching TV. So again, I think the colours are playing really nicely. And what I've done is I've got ordered another longer Chiagu cable, so I'm keeping the one set of needle tips and just swapping it between the 2 as I work on that clue. So that's all sitting on there. I'll share the yarns with you that I'm using. They're all living in my Marie Celeste Stitches bag that I bought on Etsy, which I love. This one with the little children catching fireflies. It's super cute. And it's nice and roomy because, as I said, this is a 5 skein project, so you know I need a lot of room. Okay, so the yarns, I will try and get them in a pile. I might need to pop them under my chin. And I'm going to try and see if I can get them in order. So from the bottom, so this is colour number 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. I don't know if this is going to work, the Leaning Tower of Yarn. There we go. So those are the yarns in the cakes. So top 2 are from Lichen Lace. The variegated one is the Hedgehog Fibres. The deep charcoal grey is a Madeleine Tosh, and the dusky pink at the bottom is Hedgehog Fibres as well. I can tell you the colours if you're interested in that. So we have got, so this one is Lichen Lace Linen. The eagle-eyed among you will have spotted that this actually was a different project last time I podcast. That shawl has been frogged. Once I knew that I wanted to do this Hohi mystery knit, I quickly abandoned that and jumped on this one. So that's the linen. And the next colourway is the Lichen Lace Faded Rose. And the third is Hedgehog Fibres. I love this yarn, it's so pretty. And this is Film Noir. Now all these yarns are singles. I think the reason why I was struggling with my final yarn choice, I had a couple of contenders, but 4 were singles, and then the 5th was going to be sort of like a plied yarn with a twist, and I just wasn't happy with the way it looked, so I thought I'd try and get the all going on with singles. So that's colourway 3, and number 4 is this one from Madeleine Tosh. This is Tosh Merino Light in the leopard colourway, really dark charcoal, almost black but not quite. Beautiful yarn. And I must just say, I was shopping for this online on Loop's website on the Friday, as I mentioned, and you know what it's like, you look at your screen, be it your iPad or your phone or whatever you're using to shop online with, and you look at colourways, and there's always that element of doubt. Is it going to look like that in real life? Is it going to have any sort of speckles in that you can't necessarily see on the outside of the skein, and so on? So I phoned Loop up and explained what I wanted, and the lady that answered the phone was so helpful. She went off to fetch a stepladder and went up and fetched the skeins down and went through the darkest greys that they had in singles, and yeah, she found this for me and assured me that it had no other sort of splodges of anything different in it, because I just wanted just to be grey, and that was it. Yeah, so really helpful, and posted to me and received the next day. So for service, I can't, you can't say, you can't find any better than that, I'm sure. So big thank you to the guys and girls at Loop London. So that was colourway number 4, the darkest one. And finally, the one that's on my needles at the moment is another Hedgehog Fibres skinny singles, and this one is in the dusk colourway, which picks up the some of the colours perfectly in the Film Noir skein as well. So really pleased with my colours, and the way they're all working together, and the fact that they're all singles, and really enjoying the project. It's not too late to join in if anybody fancies it. Again, Hohi's patterns, much like Helen of Curious Handmade, very well written, well tested, enjoyable. I think everyone's having such fun with this project, so yeah, join in. Maybe you could be your first mystery knit along, could be your try something new. So I'll just pop that one back. What I've done as well with this, just to keep me on track, I just had this little notebook that I found. I think it was an old Stampin' Up one I had from when I used to do that, but just put my colour references on there and just made a little copy of the the abbreviations as well, so that I can just keep those in my bag with me and any sort of notes and bits and bobs. So that's my main whip at the moment, which I am loving and just want to spend all my time knitting on. The next work in progress is my Try Something New KAL project. So I'll share that with you. And this is the reason why I'm allowing whips, because I couldn't wait to get started. I was so excited. What I had to do though, to be fair, I couldn't get very far because I was waiting on some beads, because this is, just reach across for it, this is the Fairy Hill shawl from Curious Handmade. It's the first shawl in the second season of the Shawl Society, which is it's a season of shawl patterns from Helen at Curious Handmade that are released sort of like to club members. You purchase sort of like a season ticket if you like, and you get 6, I think it's 6 shawl patterns sent to you over the course of the next few months. So this is the first one, and I loved the pattern, and when I saw it was lacy and it had beads, I thought maybe not the one for me. But with our new Try Something New KAL, this is the pattern for me at the moment. So I'll share with you, just pop that on there. The yarn I'm using it's another hedgerow yarn, which is, where's the band gone? It's this, which is their Jaipur colourway. And it's got stellina in it. The camera's picking that up, it is a little bit. I just love all the beautiful colours in this. I thought it would look really, really pretty. I'm doing the small size of the shawl, which is a one skein project. Obviously with lace you can give it quite a good block in and make it a little bit bigger. So there should be enough yarn to complete that with that. And so far all I have done is the start of the project. So we're just at this little bit of shawl stage, but you can see the colours are working out really nicely already, even this fairly small piece of knitting that I've done. Got my little progress keeper from Thimble and Threadmate, my little cocoa cup, which is so cute. And I was waiting on the beads. I didn't have any beads or a crochet hook small enough to apply them, because Helen's got a little tutorial on YouTube showing novices like me, Try Something New people like me, how to pop beads into your knitting. So you do need a crochet hook for her method. So I ordered some beads on Etsy and I was waiting for those to come. So I've stopped at the point where the next row will be a starting to add beads row. So I'll show you my beads. And I've got my beads in this little jar that I picked up. I think it was from Hobbycraft. Quite a cute little jar. I bought 2 colours of beads. So I bought the smoky grey and these, I think they're called Capri Blue. I'll get some out of the pack in a moment. Now, I've decided to go with the blue ones because they go so nicely with the yarn. So if I just open these and try not to spill them all over the floor, which would be a bit of a disaster, and then I may be able to show you the actual colour of them properly, because the plastic bag is not really doing them any justice. So I don't know if you can see. Oh, don't want to spill them. So that's the colour of the beads. And I just think that with the yarn, oh, this is really difficult, they're going to fall. They're going to work out really, really well. Next time I podcast, I'll have some actually on the on my project, so that'll be much easier to show you. But there's such a lovely shade of like a bluey, tealy green, that I think they'll pick up the teal in the yarn perfectly. So that's my my knit along project for our new knit along. So I'm really looking forward to getting to grips with knitting with the beads. And I think actually, again, it's another one of these things that I've built up to be really difficult and something I couldn't do, that when you break it down and have a go, it's not that difficult at all. Maybe just takes a little bit more time. to knit with beads and pop them on, maybe a little bit fiddly, but not essentially difficult. Now I'll show you the crochet hook that I bought. This is a 1mm crochet hook, and I don't know if you can see, the camera's picking up just how tiny that end is, and it does actually go through the beads, which is obviously a bonus. So I think that will keep me out of mischief for the foreseeable future, and I will be sharing it on Instagram on the hashtag. Obviously I won't be included in the prizes. Yes, I'm really excited to do that, and I've also got some grey beads for another beadie project, so yeah, it could end up being another bit of an obsession. Okay, final work in progress is the Mercury socks. I don't actually think much has happened on them since the last podcast. I think I got carried away with far too many other exciting things. I did show you that I'd finished one of the socks. I think I showed you that before with the contrasting heel, and there's been a little bit of leg action on here. Again, probably not too far away from needing the contrasting heel put in. Yeah, we're not too far away, so something I need to not allow to languish like the vintage Fairy Light socks did. And my lovely Chiagu interchangeables on there, which I'm really enjoying knitting with. So that's all the whips. I'm just trying to, let me just check on my notes and see if there's anything else I need to share with you. Granny Stripe blanket is still ticking along nicely. I didn't show it today because there's not a huge amount of progress since last time, because the Hohi Mystery knit along has been taking up all my knitting time in the evening, and the spring Magic Spring shawl that I shared last time, obviously I've frogged, so the linen and the faded roses colourways have been used in the Hohi shawl, and the Yantan Tetherer very pale blue yarn is awaiting something in my stash at the moment. Okay, there are no stash enhancement this week other than, which I shared earlier with you, which was the emergency skein from Loop for my shawl, and a Chiagu cable. So very restrained this week. I am heading up to Edinburgh for work in the coming week, flying up tomorrow on Monday, so maybe there's some nice places in Edinburgh that I can check out and get a little yarny fix while I'm up there when I get some downtime. So that really is everything that I needed to share with you guys this week. I just really wanted to pop in and make sure that I told you all about the knit along, because it is so exciting. I'm just going to show you the bags again because I'm really excited about the prizes. So we've got prizes. Do join in, do get involved. Really relaxed on the rules. Post your pictures on Instagram. Join the Ravelry group. Chatter in the thread, post your finished objects in the finished objects thread. I will leave a message at the top of that thread just saying to keep it just the photographs of your finished objects, so that it's easier for me to draw winners when we get to that point. That's the bit I'm most excited about, when you get to draw winners and announce prizes, because I find that bit really exciting. So that is everything from me. It'll probably be a couple of weeks before I'm back with the next podcast, but it will be really good fun to see how you're all getting on with the knit along. And I wish you all a nice couple of weeks till I see you again. Happy knitting. Try something new. Share it with me. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.